Kings Dominion is an amusement park located in Doswell, Virginia. It opened in 1975 as the sequel park to Mason, Ohio's Kings Island. I got the chance to visit this park at the end of March 2026 and rode 10 of their roller coasters. And today, I want to rank the 10 roller coasters I experienced, so here's the list. These are my top 10 roller coasters at Kings Dominion. Before we start, let's have a quick moment of silence for the coasters I was sadly unable to ride. And now that we have the very sad part out of the way, here is the actual list. Beginning with number 10, Apple Zapple. This is a large park wild mouse coaster from Mock Rides, and I must say, I had a lot of fun on this ride. I was able to get no trims on my ride, and that definitely enhanced the experience. At first glance, that 51-foot tall lift hill looks like nothing, but if you get a non-trimmed experience, those hairpin turns are actually pretty fun, which I did not expect out of this coaster. Still, however, this offers a pretty mild experience, which is why it ranks last. Number 9 is Backlot Stunt Coaster. This is a Premier Rides LIM launch coaster that is family-oriented. You can find the exact same ride at Canada's Wonderland and Kings Island. I knew exactly what to expect out of this coaster because I'd ridden its clone at Kings Island. Unfortunately, this version definitely feels dated compared to the others. None of the effects were working, and the ride doesn't really fit in with the Jungle Expedition area next door. I hope at some point, this ride gets rethemed or at least retouched. Nevertheless, the ride experience is still pretty good. The launch is pretty punchy, and the triple helix definitely made me gray out. It has some nice twists and turns, and a nice pitch black tunnel. Although it has some critiques, it's a great family coaster. Number 8 is Reptilian. Formerly Avalanche, this is one of the weirdest and most unique coasters I've ever been on. It's one of 5 Mock Rides bobsled coasters still operating in the world, and honestly, it's a pretty fun ride. The seating position on it is very strange and awkward for single riders, or maybe it's just me. This is a very enjoyable ride though. The twists and turns are very fun and actually decently forceful. This is definitely a coaster that looks like nothing special, but ends up being a sleeper hit. Definitely ride this if you visit Kings Dominion. Number 7 is Tumbili. This was my first ever SNS free spin coaster, and this was definitely a surprise to me. This coaster type generally gets hated on for being boring and short. However, they can offer some decent off-balance rides. I counted 3 flips on my ride, which is pretty crazy and uncommon. The queue is also pretty well themed and looks nice. The restraints are also not as bad as some say they are, at least from my experience. Although this model is massively overgrown, looking at you Six Flags, it's possible to have at least a decent experience on them. Number 6 is Racer 75. Formerly Rebel Yell, this is a classic PTC wooden coaster that opened with Kings Dominion in 1975. It was a surprise that this coaster lacked strong airtime in the first half, even in the back row. Although that was disappointing, the airtime definitely hit better in the second half, which I found very weird. However, I was very impressed with the smoothness of this coaster. It's great that Kings Dominion is maintaining this classic ride well. Although I definitely think Racer at Kings Island is more enjoyable, it contains more airtime. Racer 75 is still very enjoyable and definitely worth a ride. Number 5 is Dominator. This B&M floorless coaster was relocated from Geauga Lake in Cleveland back in 2008. Going into this ride, I thought it seemed overrated. Many people were saying this was a top-tier floorless coaster, and I couldn't see why. The layout didn't look like anything too special, and I thought it could have some dud elements. From my experience, my original thoughts were indeed correct. I sat in the front row on the far left, and the ride was actually decently rough. It felt like the bare minimum of roughness you could tolerate on a coaster. However, this is still a 150-foot B&M, so you can't really go too wrong with it. It's still a very fun ride. Number 4 is Grizzly. This is an in-house wooden coaster that opened in 1982. I remember when this was considered one of the worst rides in the park, and wow, have times changed. This is a top 5 coaster at Kings Dominion without question. I sat in the back row, and the airtime was absolutely amazing. Although it was certainly running slow, because it was around 40 degrees outside, all the forces and airtime still hit well. This is just a pure fun wooden coaster that is 100% worth a ride. Number 3 is Rapterra. Opening last year, this is the long-awaited replacement for the beloved Volcano of the Blast coaster. Although this ride has received a bad reception for its rattle, it wasn't a problem on my first ride. However, it was much more noticeable on the outside in the back row. Rattle aside, Repterra is actually a very fun ride. The launch is very punchy, and I really enjoyed the rest of the layout. This may be a controversial take, but I say this is the best wing coaster I've ridden in North America. However, I still need to ride 2 more, which are X-Flight and Thunderbird. Number 2 is Twisted Timbers. This is the coaster for airtime junkies, with over 20 airtime moments. You definitely can't say the same thing about its predecessor, Hurler. Twisted Timbers is absolutely an airtime machine, especially in the back row. It's ejector airtime heaven. The whole thing is pretty much airtime hell after airtime hell, with some transitional inversions in between. The only disappointing thing about Twisted Timbers for me is the operations. It was on one train the entire day on my visit, and every dispatch was 2 minutes or longer. Maybe being from a park like Kings Island, which has amazing operations, I was expecting more, but even still, 2 to 3 minute dispatches is not ideal. Number 1 is Pantherian. As a sucker for intensity, this was one of my biggest bucket list coasters for a long time, so when I got the chance to ride it, it did not disappoint. That first drop is absolutely sensational in the back row, but the main highlight of Pantherian is the switchbacks. This is what defines the ride and makes it so elite. I also love how it mixes some airtime moments along with the amazing laterals you experience on the switchbacks. This ride was also sadly running one train as well, but it was really never that much of a problem, as the dispatches were much faster and the line was much shorter. Overall, Pantherian is an absolutely incredible ride and a top 5 coaster for me. And those are my personal top 10 roller coasters at Kings Dominion. Let me know what you thought of this list down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe, as you will also appear on my subscriber screen at the end of my videos. Also check out my second channel, Off-Ride Experience, for copyright-free off-ride footage, and my Patreon for early access and bonus videos. Now thank you for watching.